So what is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be doing a quick Blu-ray box set review. Actually, it's more of a review of the films themselves rather than the actual set here on Blu-ray. I'm going to be reviewing all 8 of the Harry Potter films. These are all, of course, on Blu-ray, but as stated earlier, more a review of the films. So let's just slip the slipcase off here. It's just packaged like this, all individual Blu-rays, which is preferred for me personally over like a multi-pack with all the discs just crammed in it. So I'm going to go in order of release, chronological order, because that makes the most sense, I believe. So Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This I personally believe to be one of the most fun. I do believe this and Chamber of Secrets were done by different directors. I also am aware that Dumbledore was a completely different actor due to him passing away. I think he got replaced in movie number 3. But this is one that I have many memories with. I actually had a local hotel that we used to go to dinner to back when I was, in primary school, and this film would just repeat over and over on TV there, so I became quite acquainted with it. I think it did a good job in introducing all the characters, and it definitely is a film that stands on its own, and a film that stands well with pretty much child actors leading the films. Yeah, overall I'd have to give The Philosopher's Stone about a 4 out of 5. Great film, definitely check it out if you haven't already, and it's definitely a good start to the franchise. Next one up, the introduction of Dobby with the Chamber of Secrets. This basically just upped the ante of everything in the original. I do prefer this over the original. Still maintains being really fun, not too dark. The original 2 films are definitely more kid-friendly, I would say. Obviously, that's why they're PG. And once again, a film carried by child actors. Really, really good. Special effects still stand up till, to this day. And I love this one. I'd probably have to give this one a 5 out of 5. And there's the disc there. But the next one up is actually my personal favourite. I'm going to do a ranking at the end of the actual review, but my personal favourite film is Prisoner of Azkaban. This one was so perfectly dark at the same time, as well as, being fun. They got a little bit older in this. Their acting ability just got a little bit better. The character of Sirius Black is my personal favourite character of the franchise. That's why it's so upsetting that he had to, leave us. Talking about him like he's a real person, but to me he was. I also really like the werewolf. I mean, just as werewolves go, as far as, in films in general, I think this is my personal favourite werewolf pretty much in all of film history. I love the design of it. It actually is quite scary to me, and once again the CGI holds up very well to this day. Once again, a 5 out of 5 for Prisoner of Azkaban. Movie number 4, we have The Goblet of Fire. This one I do really enjoy. I like the inclusion of like the dragons. There's mermaids in this one. This is a very broad film, and once again, a little bit older. The acting ability got a little bit better, and this is actually the transition to the M-rated film, so a little bit darker. Great reintroduction to Voldemort in this one. However, I just feel as if this one isn't as rewatchable as some of the other films. Like the original trilogy here, I feel as if I could pop them in at any time. I feel as if I need to be more ready for this film, if you know what I mean. But great film, definitely a great, well-acted film. 4.5 out of 5 for this one, and there is the disc there. I mean, it's on par with, Prisoner of Azkaban and the rest of them, but it loses that 0.5 simply because of rewatchability. Now, as I review these films, I'd also like to say I haven't actually read any of the books in full. I believe I attempted reading a few of them when I was younger, but I'm just not a big reader. I'm definitely more into the films, so I'm not judging any of these films, comparing them to the book. But I have heard that The Order of the Phoenix is pretty much the most disappointing one. That, as well as Half-Blood Prince, in terms of like what they left out of the films. For me personally, this is the least watchable film out of the bunch. If there is one that I could, just have so many faults with, it's definitely this one. It's overly dark, not really too interesting to me. I really don't know what it is. I felt like this one was just, it's the odd one. It's the sore thumb of the bunch, and I really don't know how to quite explain it. But it's still a very well made film. The actors once again doing great jobs, but just unnecessarily dark, and probably about a 3 out of 5 for this one. Half-Blood Prince. Now this is one that I find to be a very interesting film. Once again, similar to Goblet of Fire, really well made. I really don't have too many negatives to say about the film, but it's just a film I don't rewatch a whole lot. I feel as if this one drags on a bit. These are quite long films for the most part, and this is one that definitely feels as if it just drags on. Once again, you know, it's not as dark as Order of the Phoenix, but it lacks the fun as well as dark. I know obviously this is where the film series gets really serious, and I understand that, but just as a rewatchability, factor, there isn't too much here, and I'm gonna have to give this one a 4 out of 5. Might as well just bring these two as a film here, because that's technically what it is. Part 1 and Part 2 of the Deathly Hallows. Part 1, I do believe I did see both of these in theaters, but I do remember coming out of Deathly Hallows extremely disappointed. I think it's a good first half, when you have the two here, but I just think it's overly long. Nothing particularly interesting happens. I am happy, however, that they split the films into two. I think this is one of the very few occasions in cinema history that they actually needed to split the films in two, but I just felt as if this needed a bit more to it. Overall, it's not bad, but once again, lacking action, lacking anything really interesting happening. Part 2, this was interesting to me because, once again, I've never read the book, so I didn't actually know how Voldemort was going to be defeated. I didn't know how he dies on... I knew nothing of this, and it was really interesting to see. It's really nice to see that Neville, because he is actually one of my personal favourite characters of the series, pretty much comes out of his shell. He slowly and surely been coming out of the shells over the film series. However, he basically becomes the hero. I mean, there he is right in the back. Overall, as a whole, I'd have to give it pretty much a 5 out of 5, but, if I'm doing them individually, this I almost would just give like a 3. It's pretty much on par with Order of the Phoenix for me. Part 2, I'd have to give a 4 out of 5, but as a whole, together, how they're meant to be seen, pretty much a 5 out of 5. So I've just quickly ordered the films from favourite to least favourite. All of these films I do find entertaining, all enjoyable, and not a single one of these is a bad film. Sorry, my English is horrible in this video. But here's the ranking. My personal favourite is Prisoner of Azkaban. Then comes The Chamber of Secrets. Next up after that would be The Deathly Hallows as a whole. The original film, The Philosopher's Stone. Then Goblet. I guess, I'm sure you know where this is going. Half-Blood Prince, and finally, The Order of the Phoenix. So that's the review, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Leave it a like if you did. Add it to your favourites. Subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you guys next time.